I'm your host, Melissa Vincent Holmes, and joining me today are our guests, the Bennetts, Lauren and Steve.
Hi.
Hey,
Oh, I called you Steve.
it's okay.
I'm sorry,
It's
Steven.
fine. It's fine.
So sorry, Steven.
It's fine. I go by Metal Steve. I go by
Steven.
Steve. I go by DM Steve. I go by Steve the Pirate. All kinds of stuff.
Because you are Steve of the Seven Seas.
Yeah, Steve the Seven Seas.
That's a whole thing.
I used to be Fat Jesus.
Fat Jesus.
Yeah.
Do I need to get the correction cannon already?
That's what people called me when I was in a metal band with long hair and a beard.
You were in a metal band?
Yes.
We're getting straight in it today.
That's why I'm Metal Steve.
Metal Steve. So tell me about your metal band experience, Steven.
Do I have to?
You do not. We can move on.
No, it was a band called From Ruin. 2005 on till about 2007, 2008-ish.
Okay.
And yeah, we toured around Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama.
And just rocked people's worlds.
Everywhere we went.
All right. So we're going to fast forward a little bit to the future.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to
Yeah,
fast forward a
sounds
little
good.
bit to last night.
Last night.
So last night, are you reeling about anything from last night?
I'm excited about last night.
Okay.
We're going into a new thing
Yeah.
that is going to set up some really cool moments, and they're all dolled up and pretty and whatnot. So,
So we get to see our characters in a very different light. All of them. All the characters are going to the ball.
Well, except Crystal.
Right. Because Crystal was not present last night.
that's correct.
What is Crystal doing? What is he off doing for our viewers who may have forgotten?
Well, he's off trying to recenter himself. Yes, that's all I can really say at the moment, because there'll be a Patreon exclusive one shot that you guys could go and check out about what Crystal does to recenter himself.
Okay.
But needless to say, there was a little hint in a dream.
Yes. Yeah. Kier had a dream from the Moonweaver that showed her a glimpse of what Crystal was up to. She saw him training with Photo, who is a character we've seen before, as kind of a mentor to Crystal. So she's kind of aware that he's on his own journey. He also left her a note that let her know that he would be coming back. So she's, that at least we know he's coming back.
And Kier sent.
Yes. She, when she got the note, she sent him a message and let him know that, she got his note, she misses him, she hopes he comes back soon, and, of course, to let him know that Mavieth was still blowing things up.
Yes, because that's important to know.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah.
Very.
So everyone got a note from Crystal last night,
Everyone except for Reed.
except for Reed,
Poor newbie.
because he's a noob.
Yeah, he's the new guy.
Okay. Well, that's all right. He doesn't count yet. He's got to earn it, right?
Yeah.
He's got a little more earning to do,
Yep.
if I'm understanding things correctly.
Yeah, he's getting there. He's in trouble. He and Mavieth are in a little bit of a timeout right now because of their shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Blowing up the pissing pelican.
Yep.
Yes.
So, but it
Poor
just makes him
Pirate
more of the group. Honestly, that's probably one of the best things he could have done
It's
to
screw up.
become a part of the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So screwing up gets you points with the team, with the guys. Okay.
Except for Tiriana, who's just going to murder him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which I feel like that's her MO.
Yeah.
She just does not put up with any bullshit.
No.
Which she is in the wrong group for that. But that's okay.
Yeah, but we need someone that's going to try and keep us on the right path. Of course, I'm not sure that we're on the right path exactly, but a path.
You're on
maybe
a
would be
path.
a better.
Path. Okay. So last night, I also think you allowed someone to purchase more bombs. Did that happen?
Yeah. Call me a devil's advocate, if you will.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, maybe it was allowed to purchase 4 more bombs.
Not just one.
4. Yeah.
4 more bombs.
Because he's a terrorist.
He
Pretty
is
sure.
a little bit of a terrorist.
A little bit.
And then, so Lauren, Kier does not know this.
No, she was posted up outside keeping watch when she should have known. She should have known that what she needed to be keeping watch on was Reed and Maven.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why didn't you ask Billerdam if he behaved?
Well, because at that point it felt very meta, and I wasn't sure that Kier would have thought to ask that. Because, I mean, there was nothing that gave it away.
So
also, sure, in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, he's staying in his room. He's acting like he's on his best behavior. He knows he's in trouble. Surely he would not do something as stupid as to purchase 4
Surely.
more bombs.
Unfortunately, you were incorrect.
Yes, indeed.
So what is it like as a character not knowing, but you, Lauren, you know, and you can't use this information?
It's so hard. It's so hard to, like, remember, like, I know this, but Kier does not know this. And you want so badly to act how you want to, but you can't. And sometimes I can do it pretty, like, when I'm aware of what I'm doing, I can go, okay, cool. But sometimes it comes out before you really register, like, oh, my character wouldn't know that. So, yeah.
And as the DM, I feel like you have to take a little bit of joy in doing that to them. Like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, you know, but your character doesn't know.
Absolutely, because I have to deal with that myself as a DM sometimes, where I'm like, oh God, I know what's going to happen, but I can't tell them. But I want to tell them, and I want to warn them that something bad's going to happen if they do that thing. But you can't do it. You got to let them just learn, you know? It's like being a dad of a toddler that's like trying to discover new things like electrical outlets and whatnot.
But that seems a little dangerous. But okay, I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
That's D&D.
It's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
But there have been moments when people are for real not supposed to know things, and you know it will cloud their judgment, that you have asked other cast members to step out of the room.
Yes.
So tell me about that. Like, what do you think that does to them and their characters, like, psychologically for the rest of the game?
So I've actually used this psychologically and for characters' backstory moments to really shed light on the character for the audience, but not necessarily share all the secrets with the cast. And then also I've used it in reverse of actually letting people see that dream that would not have in game to evoke some of that sympathy, or in last night's case with Kier's dream, it let everybody know that he was safe and training, but it let all the players know, not the characters. So
Okay.
letting that ferment, I guess, is the best word for it.
Okay.
And culminate into other aspects of the gameplay. It's definitely a psychological thing, because I know that doing these little one-shots that nobody's privy to, and doing dreams that the rest of the cast doesn't get to hear about, really adds an element of mystery to the characters themselves.
Okay.
So if there's a dream that is going to give something away that the rest of the cast is not aware of, that's when I have to say, okay, everyone except for Kier, leave the table.
A girl is entitled to her secrets.
Right?
And so was Ashton at one point.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
because he was dealing with some shady things. So
We're going to talk about that again. We got very emotional last time.
Yes.
And we can talk about it if you want to, but I don't want to cry again. I've got.
okay.
Oh. So do you know what is in the letters that Crystal wrote? Because no
I
one.
do.
Okay,
Yeah.
so no one chose to share with each other,
Right.
and so they only know what was written to them. But you know what was written to everyone.
Yes.
So you were the keeper of secrets.
I am the keeper of secrets.
Is there anything in those letters that you want to share with our viewers?
He told us who the BBEG is.
He did not.
Not at all.
I got really excited for a second. That wasn't fair. It was a little rude.
No, he was very good about it. He didn't metagame or anything like that. Tate chose to write those letters as Crystal and stayed true to his character and what his character is feeling in those letters.
Yeah.
And it was good, pertinent information for each one of them that received it.
Okay.
And just enough to let them know that he's okay and that he should be returning. And they got to take care of each other for a little while.
So even if they each don't ever read each other's letters,
Right.
There's a lot of eaches, they'll be okay. There was nothing like life-changing in there that our viewers need to know.
Right.
Okay, good. Because I'm so nosy. Like, I want to know. I want to know what was in there.
You should see
but-
the letters to God that he wrote. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not that nosy.
No, it's interesting as a player because you kind of want to know what other people got from him, but that's another one of those moments where like I wouldn't even necessarily know as Kier that anyone else got a note
Right.
to even ask
True.
about it.
Okay.
So it without bringing up my like I could be like, hey, I got a letter from Crystal. Anybody else get one?
It was interesting the way that Mavius leaned on the letter as well, because he used it to kind of be a guide of what is expected of him.
Mm-hmm.
And he would kind of allude to it in a way and be like, I'm just going to look at that note and just glance at it and I'll stay.
Yeah.
So
So
Okay.
you can kind of guess that he gave him some sort of advice
Yeah.
on what to do or how to act.
and I think almost everyone receives some kind of advice from Crystal.
Just a little nugget of wisdom. Because he kind of is like that older sage
He's our
character.
He's our
the-
grandpappy.
Yeah, he's your
Not that
grandpappy. He's your dad, or he's your favorite uncle, or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call him.
Yeah.
He's that that male figure,
Yeah.
kind of in the game. So he just gave his advice, gave his
Is he
wisdom,
your
and
dad?
I think he is my dad.
aw,
I'm pretty sure.
so sorry that threw me off because you didn't do it in the voice. Like I was waiting for the voice.
He's my dad.
Oh, that's really cute. So sorry. There she is. So now that Kier has announced herself,
Yes.
just how does she feel about Crystal leaving? Because I know that's kind of a big deal. Like there's, you guys have had moments where like we're human beings. There's been where you've missed a night or two, but Crystal's going to be gone for a minute.
Yeah.
And this is a first.
Well, and it's very unfortunate timing for Kier because she's been already dealing with losing Ashton, and even like her own backstory, just this is kind of a theme in her life, is losing people that she really cares about. And she finally felt like she'd found her family, and then Ashton left, and that was just such a betrayal. And so to come back and find a note and not even get to say goodbye, it hits really hard for her. And so the fact that he did let her know that he was coming back helps a lot with that. But she's still struggling for sure. There's a hole missing, and weirdly, she ended up being the one last night that people kept turning to, expecting her to like come up with the plan and do the things. And she was like, wait, I'm not in charge. Who put me in charge?
Apparently you are now.
Yes. So she needs Crystal to come back.
Because that's not her jam. She does not want to be in charge.
She does not want to be the leader of the group.
And she had a little bit of a freak out too.
Yeah, she did. She well, because he says he's coming back,
Right.
but past instances do not make her confident that
Right.
that's going to actually be the case. So she is trying very hard to convince herself that that is true. And so, yeah, when everyone was like looking at her and being like, oh, Kira's not okay with this, she was like, no, guys, it's fine. If you look at me like that, it means I'm not fine, and I am fine. So she did. She had a little bit of a freak out moment.
Well, that's allowed. So you mentioned Ashton again, his leaving. Steve, will we see more of Ashton? Or characters connected to Ashton? And I can't say these names, I'm so sorry. Is it Bo Ray Cho?
Bo Rai-cho.
Bo Rai Cho in the future.
Yeah, so a nice little cameo from Bo Rai-cho did appear. And he was watching from the shadows just to see where his pupil of sorts was
Okay.
and what he was doing, and not finding him with the unicorns, he was worried, so he was keeping an eye on him. And Ashton had planned to meet up with some more of the Knights of the Unicorn, which was a part of his deal, that he had to choose between that evil knife and becoming something nobler.
Right.
And unfortunately, he chose the other direction. But I have a feeling that it's definitely not the last time that we're going to see Bo Rai-cho around. And it's probably not the last time that we're going to see Ashton.
I'm not ready.
It's not going to be...
I was not ready for
Yeah.
last night to run into Bo Rai-cho.
Just a little bit of foreshadowing, you know, it's fine.
Lauren, you're not in charge. You just said so.
I know.
So
I know.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah. Well, we definitely were not expecting that last night, and it did. It hit a little harder than we expected again.
Steve, man. Did you punch him in the feels?
Just
did.
a little bit.
Real
Punch
hard.
him in the
Right.
feels.
Yeah. You have to sometimes, you know? Keep it interesting.
Okay. All right.
You got to gut check at least once a game.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Lauren,
Yes.
in Kira's first interaction with Volo, did I say that one right?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Got one. She seemed to really distrust him. What made her change her mind and want to do this bodyguard mission? Which, yeah, there's a mission.
Yeah. So the unstable unicorns are supposed to be guarding Volo and his bard friend, Three Strings. Did you just come up with that on the fly,
Nope.
or is that like
It's
something?
lore.
Three strings.
I wondered if,
Yeah.
but anyway,
So I can go into the lore of that a little bit. I've changed Three Strings.
okay.
Three Strings was originally a bard that hangs out in the Yawning Portal a lot. And she was pretty cool and had a lot to do with some of the Dragon Heist stuff. But
okay. But it's a little different in
I
our.
have changed the Three Strings
Gotcha.
to be a very handsome young man
Gotcha.
that may or may not incorporate pop songs from nowadays into his
I'm so
bardic
excited.
inspirations.
Oh, dear God, I hope so.
I am so excited.
I hope so. That's going to be fantastic.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
We will rock you.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited to see that. But you're going to have to be like louder and more
Oh, yeah.
boisterous about
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
We're going to have
Oh,
some
He's
passion.
gonna be like, "Hello, Waterdeep. Are
Okay,
you
good.
ready to rock?"
Yes. But no, so they're supposed to be protecting these two men, and Kira's still very she's not real sure about Volo still. Like, I wouldn't say she trusts him.
But money talks, yes?
Well, money talks, and like, the best way to keep the unicorns out of trouble is to put them on a mission. And
That's true.
There's still probably going to be some form of trouble because
Obviously.
they just can't not. But they needed something. They needed a purpose, especially with Crystal leaving. And it's also kind of one of those, like, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer kind of things.
Smart cookie.
Like,
I like it.
She doesn't trust him. She wants to know what he's up to. So the best way of learning that is join it. Get in the middle of it and find out. And then she can make her decisions.
Okay. Steve.
Yes.
At one point in this episode, you were having a conversation with yourself as two different NPCs. How difficult is that for you to do? And how do you keep like everything straight in your head? Because Volo is an NPC.
Yep.
And
Three String
is an NPC.
Yes.
And you are having conversations with yourself as
Right.
them inside your...
So I would equate that to just bringing light to my existential crisis of everyday life. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, real personal. Like, okay.
No, it's fun for me because then I have to like go back and forth between like both of them have like a regal type British accent, but one of them has a lower register than the other. So having to go back and forth between those two to indicate which was which was fun and challenging. So
Can I get a little taste?
oh yes, certainly. I am Three Strings, and I am Volo.
Okay, I see the
Oh,
difference.
yes.
It's very subtle, but I like it.
It is very subtle, but we hang out a lot, and we may talk to each other quite a bit. Yes, and Volo, he takes me around everywhere and presents me to royalty, and I enjoy that as well.
It's
Fantastic.
So much fun.
Fantastic.
It's funny too, because like when you're sitting there and you're listening to him do it, you kind of almost forget for a second that he's talking to himself.
Right, it's
Because
one
you're-
person.
Yeah, because you're in it and you're like, cool story. And then like someone pointed it out last night when it was happening. And I was like, yeah, he is totally having a conversation with himself.
See, I didn't even register it. I just was going with the story, and it required some in between with those two. So
It happens occasionally, but
Yeah.
usually there's at least one other person in the conversation, so you can
Right.
break it up a little more. But that was very much like just those two talking back and forth.
it was fun. It was really fun.
That's really cool. I like that. I think that that's a very interesting. I don't think that I could do it. Like personally, I talk to myself and I answer myself, but I'm still me.
Yeah,
So, and I think most people can identify with that. Like
Right.
you talk and answer, but there's Steve the DM, and then you're these characters. That's a lot.
oh, I would
It
definitely
is.
run it together.
Oh, trust me. Whenever we were going back and forth, because we did that a little bit with Bonnie and Dernan as well.
Yeah,
And those are two completely different accents.
yeah,
So like Dernan is just a straight, no accent, low voice. It's got a gruff, and doesn't talk a whole lot. But then Bonnie comes along and she's like, "Oh, I can teach you how to take tattoos and make them magical if you wish. Come on, and we'll get them tattooed."
yeah. See, I would mess that all
Yeah.
kinds of
Totally
up.
would too.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, we threw in a Minotaur too.
Yeah,
A Minotaur named Steve.
yeah. That was my favorite.
Aw.
So that's my little pat on the back for myself. Like
Okay.
anytime that there's a really derpy, like stupid character,
Steve.
I name it Steve. Because like anytime you watch a movie or anything like that or a TV show, it's always Steve.
It's always Steve.
It's always Steve. Like if something's messing up, it's Steve. So I just
That's why
Yeah.
Steven.
Steven, you were
is very-
Steven.
very efficient.
so
Yes,
sorry.
It's fine.
He doesn't
Um,
actually care.
No,
But
not at all.
Just a little. So I'm really excited about this ball.
Mm.
Tell me more, or tell me what you can about it. And then there were some tattoos as well. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but tell me about the ball.
Okay. Well, the ball is a gala of sorts for the upper crust of Waterdeep. And it is put on by Lariel Silverhand, which is a very deep lore cut.
I hear Silverhand and I want to be like, Silverhand.
So Lariel Silverhand is a very dangerous woman. She is the Lord of Waterdeep currently. And that is a murky water kind of thing.
Okay.
Because they took it from the Neverenders or Neverembers, I think is what they were called.
I'm not mad that a lady's in charge.
Right.
Like, that's cool.
But the folks from Neverwinter used to run all of the Sword Coast. And they have been usurped by Lariel Silverhand. And the rightful ruler of Waterdeep may or may not be in town. We don't know.
Oh, dun dun dun.
We're in so much trouble.
So
you guys are screwed.
But the ball is.
But we're gonna look pretty.
Yeah, but the ball is just a gala of sorts for that, just for fancy folks to get together and boast about their riches and wealth, while the lower crust is just struggling
and serving them.
Yeah.
But we've never seen our characters like fancy.
Oh yeah, this is
or
gonna
clean.
Be straight up. Bridgerton is what we're going for.
Ooh,
here. It's gonna
okay.
Be straight up like nice.
All right, that's exciting. I'm actually really excited about Bridgerton too, but we'll talk about that later.
Yes.
So there's been some tension on set about dice touching. There was no segue into this. This is just, all right. I was here and I touched Kenny's giant die.
Yes.
And he is my husband. And he was real mad.
Yeah.
Oh, this one last night went around touching everyone's dice.
Hair.
But I found out that is like a thing that you do not do. Yeah. You do not touch another man or woman's dice.
Oh, heads have rolled for less.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But no, it's definitely taboo to go around messing with people's dice because they have rituals and whatnot set aside to choose the correct dice for the night and all that kind of good stuff. But if you go around and put your juju on them, then they roll bad all night.
Then you get your dice put in the floor by your wife. That's what happens.
Yeah, I had to change my dice out because she threw mine on the floor.
What?
Touch my dice. If your dice hit the floor, they're cursed.
They're cursed.
Cursed.
Immediately,
Yep.
Immediately. So you just have to throw them away? Can you uncurse them? Is
you
there a cure?
Curse them. Earn curse.
Earn curse.
That's a good word. You can
like
uncurse them by cleansing them in the sun or the light of the sun and the moon. They say
that's according to me.
That's according to her.
I like that,
but it works. Like I can attest. Actually, I would like to take a moment to talk about Rivanator. What was it? The Rymar Reliques.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Rymar's Reliques.
Okay.
We saw him at the
at
Conuga.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a set of dice from him. And that set of dice has rolled so well until Lauren put them on the floor.
I have no regrets.
You have ruined the juju.
You touched my dice. Shouldn't have done it. You should have known.
So what you're saying is he did this to himself.
Yes, absolutely.
Somewhat. But I will say that, there's definitely some superstition around messing with people's dice.
Yeah. Like it's not just a little, like people get head up. They are upset. They are ready to throw hands.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And by some people, I mean all y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
It was really funny.
Okay.
Kenny walked in from the back door and was just like, "Oh, who did this?" And then it's like, "Yeah, I did it."
Did that. Maybe is our sound and video man today. So big thank you for being off camera for us.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, I will not be touching anyone's dice.
Right.
Kier, Lauren.
Yes.
Do you have a specific ritual for your dice?
I do. I have to roll my dice. I take all of them, the whole giant bag
before the session.
Before the session, I take all of them out in sections and I roll them all, and the ones that roll the highest get to participate that night. The rest of them get put back into the timeout bag.
They don't act right. They're not playing.
Exactly.
Okay.
I have to let them know that I mean business.
Right.
And then if they roll too bad, they go in the dice coffin and until they can be cleansed properly.
Oh, and how often do you cleanse your dice?
Depends on how they roll.
Okay.
But typically I wait for a full moon.
So after you rolled last night, how do you feel like you need to cleanse them or not?
Well, last night was my fault because I did not do my ritual. I used the same dice from the week before because I ran out of time. And so it's absolutely my fault that they rolled that way. I cannot blame the dice. That's on me.
You know, it happens. But now you know that your ritual works.
Exactly.
Like you proved it. It's factual now.
Yep.
For me, I just, whichever ones I'm feeling that night.
I could totally blame you because you touched my dice.
Yeah, but you said that it was your fault.
No, I changed my mind. It's your fault.
We're back to you, bud.
Yeah.
Back to you, bud.
It's my fault.
So
At least you weren't in a battle.
that's true.
It is true.
It could have been worse.
And cool.
That threw us all off. All of us were like
professionals.
brains. We just got a time signal from.
Is there something on me?
We're like,
We rehearsed this.
we are professionals. We know what we're doing. I'm so sorry. So on the personal side, because we've kind of talked about, you know, the game, the session, what's been going on with you guys, but more of a behind the scenes, like let's take a look at what happens. We're in your living room.
Yeah.
We're in your home.
Mm.
That is also where the sessions are played.
Yeah.
And it pretty much has taken over your home. How does it feel? Like, how do you guys cope with living in constant D&D, Unstable Unicorns, Reckless Advantage life?
There's more to life than D&D.
I was unaware.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I take it back. There's nothing else. There is nothing else but D&D.
No.
What's out there?
It gets a little hectic at
Yeah.
times, and I especially go through phases where like that's it. I'm taking my house back, and like
As you should.
I'll pack it all away. But for the most part, we've just gotten used to living with it. It's just a part of the space now.
Yeah. I'm the world's worst about like cluttering things. Like if I have something in my pockets or in my hands or anything like that, then it goes on the table. And if we have the tables set up, I definitely clutter them up. And then we have to clean them before.
So you make it
sessions and
worse,
stuff.
and
I
then
do.
Lauren cleans it up.
Well,
Uh,
I help.
You help, and I also
Okay.
help with the clutter as
Yeah.
well.
Okay, so you're both guilty. It's not like
Yes,
one-sided
no,
here.
and the children contribute their
Oh,
fair
yes.
share as well.
So, follow-up
so
question.
It's a family affair.
Right? So you do have children that live here.
Yes.
How do they handle all of this all the time? Are they cool with it? Do they love it? Like,
Yeah,
do they...
I mean, we've even done some test streams with the kids.
Yeah.
So before we actually started streaming, we did a couple of test streams with the kids, and they love playing D&D as well. So
they're invested in it
Yeah.
in their own way. They don't really watch because
we're an adult show.
yeah.
Yep, grown-ups.
Yeah. But they hear us talk about it. So they know the story, they know the characters, and I'm pretty sure they just know Kenny as Mavieth. I
Yeah.
don't think
Not as a
they
real person.
actually like think of him as a person. But they're pretty, for them too, it's just a part of the space now.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is just your life now.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
just life is D&D.
Eventually, one day, when we're rich and famous,
If
we will-
anyone wants to help us get
Right.
all of this out of our
Patreon
house,
is the best way
please
to
This
go.
is
become
our plea.
Patreon
This is our
subscriber.
plea. No.
we would love
Yeah.
to like eventually have like a game store with like a studio in the back that we could just move everything to that studio, maybe even rent out the space for
Yes.
other streams,
A-
and all that kind of stuff.
A permanent,
Yeah.
not ever changing
Yes.
studio space is like my
The
biggest
dream.
dream
Yeah.
at this point, because that is the hardest part of having it in our space, is that it cannot just stay there every single week. It has to be readjusted,
Yeah.
reset up, everything pulled back out.
Time
And
and
we have to move it
effort.
around for the different
Yep.
shows.
And then I run out of time and I
Yeah.
don't get to roll my dice
Yeah.
ahead of
And
time.
everything just goes to shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
terrible.
It's so unfortunate.
It spirals.
But that's actually, you know, kind of my next questions are where do you want to go with the Unstable Unicorns? So with the campaign Unstable Unicorns, with Reckless Advantage as, you know, not just a business but a D&D game, and then also like where do you want the cast to go? Like what does the future look like?
Oh man.
Or your goal future? What are your dreams? What do you hope happens with all of this?
I mean, the dream is to have 1 million plus followers and like have people really enjoy our story and the characters that we come up with. And if we get a few people into D&D because of that, great. You know what I'm saying? That's all about the gospel of D&D, if you will. But no, I know personally I have goals. Like I do want to have my own D&D store and actually run that as like my day job. And then if we have enough room for a studio in the back, it's a perfect place to do our stream.
Right?
And another personal goal of mine is to get involved with kids a lot, because like we want to, and I know that we've talked about this with the library, the local library, and like trying to set up a deal with them to do some like creative writing classes and D&D and all that kind of
some
good stuff.
community outreach.
Yeah.
Would
And giving back to the community as a whole.
And just in general, I'd like to see us getting some more content out there. We're getting there. We're slow, as you can see from this.
Yeah.
But more of that for sure, and just getting to share this story is so much fun, and I would love to see more people engaging with it and enjoying it in the way that we do.
Because you guys are having a blast.
Oh, yes.
Like
Always.
I hear it, I get pictures, you know, I get to catch the tail end or the very beginning occasionally. And you guys are just genuinely laughing your faces off, having a great time doing this. And it seems like you do just want to share it with the world. And and we do live in rural North Georgia.
Yes.
There is not a lot to do. And there's not a lot of emphasis on creativity and the arts. I mean, people try. We have a wonderful art center and we have a lot of things to do, but it really is, you know, there's not that connection. It seems very aspirational.
Especially for younger people.
Yes.
Like for children, teens, and young adults. The community that we have here, like you said, we have some good things they're trying. You know, we have plays, but they're more geared towards an older community. And we would love to be able to bring this to a younger generation, the next up and coming generation, to enjoy and to have that creative outlet, because I wish someone had been there to introduce me to this at that age.
And see, D&D for me is playing pretend. It's the ultimate imagination station, if you will.
Yeah.
And being able to hone those imagination skills, make you think creatively. And when you have a creative imagination like that, it can lead to all kinds of aspects of your life. Like it can fulfill needs of a certain, like when people say think outside the box, some people are like, oh my God, I can't think outside the box. I don't know.
What does that mean?
Yeah. And then
I didn't know it was in a box.
creative thinkers and people that hone those skills can be like, sweet, well, what about this?
Yeah.
And absolutely change the game on us, you know? And that's something that I hope to foster in other people.
Well, and we deal with so much, especially in recent times.
Yes.
It's just everything is heavy for people, and
Yes.
I feel like we have to deal with a lot more than we should, for sure. And everyone deserves to have that piece of joy in their lives to appease that inner child that we all have. And for us, that's what D&D is. It's bringing that joy, that happiness, and just playfulness, and getting to forget about all the bad for a little while. And I would love to share that with others, to put some joy back into the world that seems so dark at times.
Yeah.
So to make yourself that accessible escape
Yep.
for our community, and then also for the D&D community and anyone else. You don't have to like D&D to watch.
No,
Exactly.
It's
No.
entertaining.
Yeah, if you like storytelling, then
Yeah.
D&D is for you. Like, that's all there is to it. Like, if you can sit there and binge watch a TV show that somebody has made up,
Yeah.
then a D&D campaign is not far off. The only thing you're missing is a live action cast. You're using your imagination instead
Yeah.
of having everything spoon fed to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So tell me, like, if you could work with anybody in the D&D industry,
oh God.
who would it be? Who's
Okay.
like your dream collaboration?
That's hard.
I know.
Oh, no.
That's why I did it.
Well, because naturally you want to say Matthew Mercer. Like,
Right? That dude is
immediately,
brilliant.
because he's like, when you think D&D, he's the one that automatically comes to mind.
I just want to make out with him.
Right? He's not bad looking either.
No,
I'm so
he's
sorry,
not.
Marisha. I don't want to
Yeah.
make out with your husband.
Hey, but Marisha's a looker too.
Right? Like, I'm
so
a looker
like
too.
that whole cast is just
Right, they're
gorgeous, of
beautiful.
course. But no, but there's also so many cool, like, thinking on a smaller scale too. I love the TikTok D&D community. And there's so
They're
many
hilarious.
cool, just
Like,
really fun.
I don't even play, but I'll watch it and it's really funny.
Yes, and so there's a lot of people on TikTok that I would love to collaborate with or work with in the future as well.
Lauren, can you add at the bottom when in post, like
Yes,
who you follow?
absolutely. I will totally link all of them because they are amazing creators, and I love it. And there's just too many to even begin to try and name. But yes, I will most definitely link them in post editing.
For me, Todd Kenrick, Chris Perkins would be amazing. I would love to get to meet any of the cast of Critical Role. And if I could just get one Pumat soul voice out of Matt Mercer, I would be set for life. But Brendan Mulligan.
Yeah, Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Brendan Lee Mulligan, that's his name.
Okay.
That guy's really clever, really quick-witted. I would love to just pick his brain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, she's right. There's a ton of TikTok people, but there's also some smaller community people that haven't got their name quite to that level yet.
Are we talking about Kusakan George, who we love?
Oh, Kusakan George, we work with already. So
But I would
That's
love
true.
to have him, like,
come and sit in and play a game.
yes.
Oh man,
I
that'd
would,
be so
in
cool.
general,
That's so nice.
that's we were
Yeah.
talking about, like, looking forward to the future. Right now, our space constraints
Right.
just don't allow us to have guests.
Right.
But I would love in the future to be able to have guest players come in and like participate in the campaign. That would be
Absolutely.
amazing.
That would be heck of fun.
And D4, the guys from
Yes.
D4.
Yeah, they're
They're-
really cool because they have two DMs,
Yeah.
like that co-DM together.
And I really
And it works.
want
Yes.
to pick their brain because me and Brian have tried to co-DM once or twice. And
it's challenging.
it's very challenging to play off of one another. And
Did we get another signal?
I don't know.
Okay. So sorry.
But
I'm so sorry.
Oh my. Someone tell Alexa to shut up.
God, that interrupting bitch.
I'm telling you.
Jesus.
God,
Yep.
She mind her business.
right.
I'm
We
so
are
sorry.
professionals, I
My
swear.
goodness. But yeah, no, it's there's several names that I would love to like either have at the table or to play for. Oh man, if I could play for Abria Iyengar.
My life would be complete.
You guys
Oh
just
my
got so
God,
excited.
it would
Yes,
be
she is
so good.
amazing. Ugh.
And like there's tons of people that I would love to have as guests. But you know, that's scheming and dreaming.
My answer
That's okay. That's
is
what I asked.
Yeah.
anyone. Like I love the entire D&D community.
Oh, yeah.
Like getting to work with anyone
Oh, and
would
it's
be
huge.
amazing.
It's huge.
It is. And
Like
very diverse.
Patrick
Yes.
Rothfuss, the author, he plays religiously. Matthew Lillard plays
Yeah.
all the time.
Oh, for the Scream guy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's so
Um,
adorable.
Deborah and
Oh, you lost me. I'm terrible at names.
the girl from Punisher.
You lost us all.
Oh, come on.
What?
You're the one who can't remember the name.
I'm like, from the show, from the movie, which movie?
Her
Like,
name is Deborah from the show of Punisher. She was the secretary lady that.
Punisher?
Yeah. Oh no, Daredevil.
Daredevil.
That's
oh,
right.
the redhead.
Yes.
Oh,
Deborah
I love.
and
Starts with a W.
yes.
I know who you're talking about. She was in True Blood and she was in Daredevil.
Yes,
We'll figure it out
absolutely.
and we'll fix it in post.
But
That's my
she's-
answer to everything.
right?
We'll fix it in post.
I'm sorry, Deborah. We love you. Please come play with us. And Joe Manganiello is huge into it.
That man.
The Big Show from wrestling
Yeah.
is a big player in Joe Manganiello's show.
Yeah, there's a lot of
So-
people that are into D&D
Yeah.
that you wouldn't have guessed. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
that I
And that's okay. That's why it's
Yes.
universal and wonderful and so creative and it's still nerdy though.
Oh,
like
yes.
some of those people are
Absolutely.
incredibly attractive human beings, and then you
Yes.
find out that they play D&D, and it's not like it's a flaw, but it's like, huh?
well because the like when there's this always been this kind of stigma
Yes.
to it of like, oh, it's nerdy, like you
Mhm.
And
play
being a nerd is not a
D&D.
bad thing.
Yeah, but like when you think of a nerd, you don't think of like someone attractive,
Successful,
typically.
attractive,
Yeah.
rich people.
Yeah, like that's not what comes to mind. But like again, I'm gonna go back to TikTok. Have you seen these people? Like
They're beautiful.
they're beautiful, amazing, wonderful nerds, and it's great. So I love it. Breaking stigmas. I love
Yeah,
it.
love it
Yes.
too.
So two more just little things. Tell me about the farting during the game. This has become a problem. Like,
So
and
we have-
who was the number one offender?
Last
Or
night,
who's the
it
number
was
one, number two
probably
offender?
me. It was probably me last night. I was a little gassy. But yeah, I said a thing and then it got quiet for a second and I was like,
You just squeaked one out.
yep. And I was like, oh man. Well, that was me.
Whoopsie doodles.
Well, when we started playing, it didn't matter because we weren't recording.
Right.
So, and because we're all friends and family and we've become like family, we're not judging each other.
Well, no, there is no
So-
judgment in D&D.
So
Hey, it
it
happens.
just,
you know?
it was a part of it. But yeah,
Sometimes maybe it blows up buildings. Sometimes maybe it blows out his pants. It's fine. And yeah, no, I totally farted last night and I apologized on screen, I do believe.
So do you the
And-
mics picked it up? It was that loud?
I don't know if the mics picked
well,
it up.
we have
but-
I've decided that we should turn it into a game. So for our subscribers, they get special little emotes.
Yes.
And one of those emotes is actually like a little fart
Animated.
emote.
Animated emote
Yeah.
that farts.
Oh, nice.
And so I've decided we should totally make it a game.
Yeah.
And our viewers, anytime you catch one of those farts, use the emote.
Yeah.
Let us know so that we can listen for it later.
Oh,
'cause-
yes. Nice. So everybody does it. Like everyone at those tables at some point has farted
Yeah.
during a session on camera.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
probably.
I think Tate may be the
He's the number one.
biggest culprit because
Okay.
he's just gas, man. He's just full of gas. I don't know.
Yes.
Gassy assy.
So you get the spontaneous giggling.
Yes.
Sometimes it's because someone has farted.
Yes.
And you don't want to bust them out. But sometimes you do bust them out and you giggle anyway.
Yeah, well, and sometimes you just can't help but giggle because, especially when you're sitting across from each other and you make eye contact. Yeah.
Oh no.
And if you have no shame, then you might like lift a cheek and
Oh God.
let it go.
Are you talking about maybe it's / Kenny Holmes?
No. No, actually, I think I did that one time as well.
You did that one
Yes.
time,
Yeah.
so it's a thing. All right,
yeah.
so from farting,
Uh-huh.
we're going to talk quickly. So give me the Patreon rundown in 60 seconds or less.
Oh God. Okay.
I didn't
So
prep them for this.
we have 3 tiers in the Patreon. You got the $5 tier, which is called the Rollers tier, and you get some behind the scenes footage and Patreon shout out and all that kind of good stuff. And then you get the $10 tier, which is the High Rollers, and you get all that. Plus, you get a exclusive promotional sticker,
I love stickers.
and you get a hand signed card,
Mhm.
and exclusive merch offers. Right,
Yes.
We got cool merch.
and then the $20 tier is the Reckless Rollers, and they get all of that. Plus, they get a 10% discount on our merch store, and they get
An enamel or
an
an
enamel
acrylic.
collector's pin,
An acrylic.
acrylic
It's
Yeah.
a collector's
collector's
pin.
pin.
It's really cool.
and you also get the chance to play in RAO, which is our Reckless Advantage online on Discord. So,
Which
yeah.
we will talk to Brian / Billerdam on our next episode
Absolutely.
about more. I've got lots of questions for him on how that works and when it's coming and what it's going to be. So I'm very
yeah,
excited.
it's gonna be out pretty soon. So, I would say save for that one.
Okay.
Like, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, don't subscribe yet to our $20 tier. Wait until the game drops.
Yeah.
And then when the online game is going.
Unless you really like
Like you can give us
custom
money.
pins,
Yeah.
but,
You can give us money anytime.
Right. And if you guys just want to like send us money, we're perfectly fine with that.
Not
No.
that we're begging for your money,
Right,
because
no.
these funds go towards, like, we all have regular jobs. We're
Yes.
all regular people. What do, when they subscribe and they give us those dollars, which we very much appreciate,
Right.
thank you.
Yes.
What does that pay for? What does that help us do?
That helps us to create better content.
Yes.
So it goes back into, funding the merch to have for conventions, to upgrade our equipment.
Yeah.
And
What, this mic is not state of the art?
yeah, I know. It's very I mean, the mic
works.
itself is okay, but the mic boom it's
Right.
a hand-me-down.
It is working just fine.
Yeah.
Working just fine.
So yeah, it goes to help us improve what we're doing,
Right.
and definitely all goes back into
Reckless
advantage.
And to hopefully get us a space one day where you're
Yes.
talking about your store and your studio,
Yeah.
so that we can bring this to a larger audience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And bring more joy.
Yep. And I also want to point out that with the Patreon, even at the lowest tier and up, you get access to, he was talking about behind the scenes content. So like our previous streams, like our test streams before we actually
Oh,
started.
those are a hot mess
Yeah.
of just hilariousness.
Yes. So those are on there. And bonus episodes. So like these
Bonus episodes.
Yes.
Tell me more.
So like while we've been in Waterdeep, we keep having these little like, oh, so and so went here, so and so who went
Mhm.
here, and they get those one shots. So the rest of the cast is not privy to what happened in those one shots, but our Patreon subscribers get to see those.
Yeah.
So they get to be in the know more than the cast members.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
So basically, that's your inside track. Like that's on level with the DM.
Yeah.
Right there, as far as what's
You get to
going
know
on.
what the DM knows.
Mm.
Ooh, and me being nosy, I'm gonna want that. So just so you know.
I put the videos on the Patreon and I don't even get to watch them. So-
Seriously?
Yeah, no, I have not watched
Steve,
them.
you don't let her watch.
There
You
are
are
some
serious.
sensitive materials in there that she doesn't need to know about. Yeah, you can watch them.
Okay. I gotta give you $5.
You can't tell.
I can't ask well, I'm not gonna tell
You
Kenny.
can't tell Kenny. Maybe it can't know.
It'll be fine, I promise. I don't tell him lots of things. And then obviously we want people to be part of Patreon and that community. But Discord is still a thing. That is where we have, there are like 15 different conversations that you can have.
Yeah.
But we're on there all day, every day. I'll be at work and it's just going off. I'm like having to turn it upside down during a meeting. Like, sorry, gotta mute that.
Yeah.
But
Last night during our break, somebody put something on Discord, and it was like for all of us. It was ridiculous.
Nice. But you guys are very active. We talk to each other. We talk to the community.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool that you guys are so accessible, and this is such a big part of your lives. That's really important.
Yeah, and we like to, like, if you have any questions or any concerns, if maybe if ever does anything that pisses you off, make sure you go on there and tell him about it.
Go tell him. There's an
own
idiot
little
chat.
channel.
Yeah, we're not like we're very easily accessible. Like, we like to talk to the people that watch the show. We like to hear feedback, and so we would love to see more of our viewers.
And it's a way for us to like keep up with you guys as well as for you guys to keep up with us.
Yeah,
because like we love our community. Like
you do.
Everybody in our community we love. We met people in passing at Conuga, and some of them sat in with games with us and stuff like that, and we still talk to them on the regular.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, even Miss 134 is one that played in my game, and she got 134 hit points in one turn. That's why she calls herself Miss 134.
What a badass!
Right?
That is phenomenal.
So, she was just on the other night talking about how she just played a game and got some cool stuff, and I asked her if she used the wish that I gave her. So,
oh yeah, because she could save that wish. And it's not just like if you're playing a game and you're stuck, like your own game, we are happy to, we're not the experts by any means, but we are happy to answer those questions, help you out, give you ideas. Like you really want it to be a community, and it's not just about Unstable Unicorns or this specific campaign.
Right.
Exactly. And there's a lot of open-ended questions that come with D&D, because there are, like, for instance, we had a big long discussion, me and Brian, about how magical tattoos would work on a werebear.
Oh yeah, because you guys got tattoos.
Yeah. And
also sometimes we have very, important debates about whether an owlbear would poop like a human or
use owl
pellets.
Yeah.
That is an interesting image in my head.
Yeah.
Yes. So, the whole scope.
Gamut of it. But yeah, because werebears technically repair their skin whenever they transform back.
Yeah.
So a tattoo's ink would not stay after a transformation unless it's magical.
And if it's magical. So speaking of, we're going to wrap up last segment today. Almost done. Almost done, I promise. You guys are enjoying it though, aren't you? The DM's top 5. So this is something, Steve, that you started, and Kenny and I would be laying in bed and we would get this text message late after Saturday night's session, and Kenny would get very excited. Oh, it's Steve's top 5. It's his top 5 moments this week from this week's episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, great. Tell them to me. And I would be snoring before he was done. But and these are not in any particular order, correct?
Right.
So I'm just going to run down them.
Cool.
So speaking of Billardam's tattoos.
Yes. So Billardam passed out during his tattoo because he rolled low on his Constitution save for that. And when he did, Kier, what did you do?
He got a honey pot behind one ear and a little bee behind the other ear.
Like tattooed?
Yeah.
Oh, were they magical? Will they stay forever?
No, they won't stay. They're basically temporary tattoos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once he transforms into a bear and back, they won't be there anymore. But he's not aware that they're there.
Well, at least you didn't put a dick on his face.
It's true.
Right.
It could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
Wow. Sorry, guys.
But yeah, it made me chuckle for sure, because like I just know that it's kind of like a temporary tattoo on a werebear. So when he transforms back, those tattoos are not going to stay there anymore.
Do you think he'll ever even know that he had them?
I doubt he has.
Probably not.
But Kier will, and that's the funny part.
Yes.
And
Maybe
you
one
can
day
totally
she'll.
like point it out to your other castmates and be like, "Hey, look behind his ear."
Because he's
Maybe.
small. His ears aren't very big.
No.
There's okay.
No.
So it's just very subtle.
Yep.
The next is Mute Reed. Y'all.
Oh man,
What happened?
Okay, so he was out testing his rifle while his buddy Drake, the Goblin, was using his little artificer arcane cannon to blow some stumps up for a farmer. And the Griffin Guard flew down to check on what was happening over there because they were making quite a large ruckus.
Yeah.
And Reed let him do all the talking, literally.
Because he's really bad at lying.
Oh, so it was better for him to shut up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Drake, told the guards a story, and it was partially true
Yeah, but then the guard asked if Reed was a mute
or something.
or something.
Because he wasn't speaking.
Yes.
And then Drake, without missing a beat, was like, yep, he's definitely a mute. He had a
Definitely
terrible accident with tannerite in the mouth. It was bad.
But then, and it was so funny because Gavin's just really like the quiet one of the group,
Yes.
typically. And so, without missing a beat, he just makes this like no, it wasn't even. It was like just a like noise, but like not a talking, just a noise,
Right.
to try and convince this guard that he couldn't talk. But I was very unprepared.
Oh man, I'm
And
So,
I
okay.
lost it.
We all
it was,
lost it
oh
for
my
a
gosh,
minute.
it was so funny.
Oh, it was so good.
That sounds like that was last night's episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
That will be, if you missed it, it will be live on YouTube on Wednesday. So you
Yep.
can go see Gavin and his convincing mute sound.
Yes.
Okay. Then there's Fancy Dress Up is the
Oh,
next
man.
moment.
So just listening to them, there's something about putting a ball like in play.
You've elevated things.
Yes. To where they start thinking about, okay, so how would my character dress up? And just listening to how they were describing all of their different outfits and stuff and being all swanky and stuff, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I love it. It's kind of like a kid in a candy shop at that point.
Well, and it's funny because like that's another one of those moments where like Kier wouldn't care,
Right.
but me, Lauren, I care very much.
Yeah.
I'm
You care very, very
excited.
much.
Yeah.
So it's a fun thing. DMs out there, if you haven't yet, make them dress up for something. It's fun.
It's
It
fun.
it sounds like it really got their creativity flowing because like the minutia, like
Yeah.
into the
Mhm.
detail of it's this type of shirt with this type of color with these buttons and these
Yeah.
cufflinks.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really
Yeah.
detailed and just getting them into their character and knowing their character and blending themselves into it more.
Yeah,
Yep.
and just the visual in your imagination of what
Mhm.
they're all looking like going to this ball
Oh,
is
yeah.
amazing. So
They're so excited, aren't
yeah,
they?
they are. super
Everyone's so
excited.
excited. Balloon Billardam and Mavieth. Balloon Billardam and Mavieth.
So Billardam got a bag of balloons. I think he's down to like 18 now.
Like up balloons or like just
regular
regular
Yeah,
balloons?
just like a regular
Okay.
And if you blow these balloons up, it causes you to levitate. But it's like feather fall in reverse, meaning that you move very slowly upwards.
hmm
And it's just a really funny visual for a halfling to just start floating off the ground holding a balloon. And Mavieth grabbed him by the ankle and was like walking him around like he was a balloon.
So,
Walking down the street, like a busy, crowded street.
so just holding a
with just
halfling holding a balloon.
Yes.
There's a lot going on there. So it would take several balloons to get Mavieth off of his feet.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
actually, no. With these balloons, Mavieth would be able to blow one up, and Mavieth would be
Really?
able to
So your breath, your body weight.
Yep.
Huh, but he would have to be the one to blow it up,
Yes.
not Biller Dam.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting.
That may be a little too meta for you guys currently.
That's okay. That's
but
okay.
yes, anyone could use those balloons. It's just how Biller Dam chooses to use them.
I feel like it was a
Like
heavy
it.
Biller Dam week.
Yeah.
Because Biller Dam pickpocketing.
Oh man.
Ugh.
Like a pro.
We have created a monster.
So
monster.
it's funny to me because he is a werebear, but that's not a class. Rogue is his class.
Mm-hmm.
But he is like the Mr. Magoo of rogues.
Mr. Magoo. That is a throwback.
It is a throwback. And if you haven't seen Mr. Magoo or Pink Panther, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Both throwbacks, man.
Yeah,
straight up,
but
like,
so accurate.
oh man, he stumbles his way through being a rogue. Like the way that he stole his lace of jumping was he just got tangled up in it, and then he had it, and he was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so this time he was pickpocketing because he said, well, how do we make money? And
We
Tiziana said, let's go pickpocket somebody.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Okay.
He got
Okay.
excited because he's so innocent and
Yes.
sweet. He doesn't.
Yes.
His first thought is not crime.
No,
Right.
no.
That is not his first
so
inclination.
he honestly probably believes that it's okay to pickpocket people now.
Because
Yeah.
Tiziana said so.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't let him.
Yeah, he totally went and pickpocketed 2 people and did it expertly. And
Weird.
I was just like, whoa.
Is that going to come back to bite him?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
Just
bad
checking.
influences.
Yeah, no, he got away with it clean. Like it was
He really did. He pulled it off like flawlessly.
It was impressive.
It just bam bam done, back to the yawning portal with like, what was it?
Several platinum.
So 500 gold the first time and 3,000 because 3 platinums
Yeah.
and 5 gold pieces. So yeah, that's like 3,500 and 5
Yeah.
gold
It was
from
a
just
lot.
2 people.
That's,
Yeah.
hey, whatever works. I'm glad that worked out for him.
Yeah, it was great.
So that's all I have for this episode of Reckless Recap. Do you guys have anything else you want to discuss? No?
How you're not going to touch my dice ever again?
Oh, I'm gonna
Good luck with that, buddy.
I'm gonna
Good
lick
luck.
your dice.
Oh.
I'm gonna take your dice.
I feel like we're going to lose our rating if you keep talking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, thank you all so much for joining us. And remember, take care of yourselves and take care of the masses. We'll see you next time.